Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're jumping into a really interesting book, Sweet Poison, Why Sugar Makes Us Fat, by David Gillespie.
Yeah, it's a fascinating one, and it probably resonates with folks who, feel like they're doing all the right things, eating healthy, exercising.
But just not seeing the results right.
Exactly, and that's where Gillespie himself started. He wasn't like a nutritionist or doctor. He was a lawyer, started a software company.
So just a regular guy, essentially.
Pretty much. A regular guy who found himself seriously overweight and decided to figure out why from his own perspective, not some expert talking down.
I like that. And that's kind of our mission here today, isn't it? To pull out the key ideas from his journey, see what we can learn.
Definitely. So Gillespie's initial thinking was, well, pretty standard.
Like eat less, move more, that whole thing.
Just calories in, calories out, simple maths. But then he started noticing something else.
What was that?
Well, he realized just how much sugar was lurking in foods he thought were perfectly fine. You know, the healthy stuff.
Oh, like what?
Things like low-fat yogurt, those energy bars everyone grabs, even granola, packed with sugar, but kind of invisible.
Right, hidden sugars. And when he cut back on those...
That was the kicker. His appetite actually decreased, sort of naturally, and he started losing weight, but, get this, without some crazy diet or, killing himself at the gym.
Huh. It really makes you pause and think, doesn't it? Could those hidden sugars be like sabotaging your efforts, even if you think you're eating well?
It's a really important question, and Gillespie didn't stop there. He started digging specifically into fructose.
Fructose, right, the fruit sugar.
Yeah.
Or is it more than that?
Well, yeah, it's in fruit, but it's also a major component of table sugar and high fructose corn syrup. And his finding was pretty stark. He saw it as a major driver of fat storage.
How does that work exactly?
So most of the fructose we eat doesn't get used directly for energy like glucose does. Instead, the liver gets overloaded with it.
Okay.
And the liver's main way of dealing with that overload, turning it straight into fat that often ends up stored around your organs.
Wow, okay. So not just like under the skin fat, but the internal stuff.
Precisely. And that's linked to a whole cascade of potential issues. Insulin resistance is a big one.
Where your body stops responding properly to insulin.
Exactly. And potentially fatty liver disease, other chronic conditions down the line. So Gillespie's approach was, well, pretty direct.
What did he do?
He decided to eliminate basically all foods with fructose.
Yeah.
Which, meant a lot of careful label reading, especially at the beginning.
That sounds intense. But did it work for him?
Apparently, yes. Significant weight loss, more energy, and again, he stresses it wasn't about feeling deprived all the time, it was more about feeling better.
Interesting. And the book isn't just his story, right? There are others.
Yeah, there's one really compelling account of a woman, exercised constantly, ate what seemed like a super healthy diet.
But couldn't lose weight and felt tired.
Yep, totally brained. Her doctor actually suggested cutting out sugar completely.
How did that go for her? Must have been tough initially.
Oh, definitely. She talks about feeling like she was missing out, the enjoyment factor.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But after a few weeks, something shifted. The craving started to fade, her energy levels just shot up, and she even felt like mentally clearer.
That's powerful. It really backs up Gillespie's core idea, doesn't it?
Which is?
That maybe our bodies actually know what they need if we just stop interfering so much with sugar.
Exactly. We have these built-in systems for hunger and fullness, right? Satiety signals. But loads of sugar just seems to scramble those signals.
And when you take away the interference, maybe the body can just get back to regulating itself, using real food for real fuel.
That's the idea. And what's really appealing about the book's message, I think, is its simplicity.
How so?
It's not pushing some complicated deprivation diet or making you count every single calorie. It's more about identifying and stopping something actively harmful, the excess sugar.
So less about becoming a nutrition guru.
Right. And more about just, recognizing actual food again and learning to trust your body's signals once that sugar noise quiets down.
Just paying attention, basically.
Paying attention to sugar intake. It could be enough to make a real difference.
Okay. So wrapping this up, the central message seems to be, take a hard look at hidden sugars. They might be affecting you more than you think.
Definitely. And if you want more stories, the book apparently has like 15 other personal accounts, which could be quite insightful.
So maybe a final thought for everyone listening. Instead of always thinking about what you need to restrict or cut out completely, what if you just focused on reducing one specific thing, like added sugar? What small changes might you start noticing? Maybe in energy, maybe cravings. Something to think about.
Good point.